When it comes to Harry Potter, you may remember in the first movie, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The trio of main characters unintentionally found the hiding place of the Philosopher's Stone, guarded by a dog named Fluffy. Name is cute but actually not at all. A huge creature with 3 heads, 3 pairs of crazed eyes, a striped serpent's tail, and 3 wrinkled noses pointing in 3 directions. Each with sharp fangs, drool oozing from its golden tusks. Fluffy, the guard dog of Hogwarts treasure, is obviously inspired by the mythical creature Cerberus in Greek mythology. Cerberus is Hades' pet, the guardian of the gates to the world of the dead, where this god reigns. To be honest, Fluffy is scary but much cuter than Cerberus. In the imagination of ancient Greeks, the image of Cerberus originated from the fear of wild dogs. Therefore, they gave this creature the typical characteristics of a dog, such as strength, silence, and readiness to sacrifice to protect their master. Cerberus looks ferocious, but is actually a descendant of the gods. This great creature is the grandson of Mother Earth, Gaia, and is the offspring of a couple who are not ordinary. Cerberus' father is Typhon, the nightmare of the gods on Mount Olympus, born of Gaia's hatred. Cerberus' mother is Echidna, a monster with the shape of a half-woman, half-snake, with a beautiful woman's upper body. With her deep, beautiful eyes, Echidna seduced unwitting men who stumbled into the lair to eat them. Echidna is considered the embodiment of disease, decay, and the most vile filth. This matching pair gave birth to the most terrifying monsters in Greek mythology, including the Chimera, Hydra, Medusa, and of course, our main character today, Cerberus. Ancient Greeks described Cerberus as a monster with 3 heads representing the past, present, and future. A snake tail, and a lion's claws. Contrary to the ferocious appearance that makes others think that Cerberus is just a bloodthirsty monster, this creature is just a faithful pet of Hades. With the main task of guarding the underworld, Cerberus often patrols along the banks of the Styx River, the border between the dead under the underworld and the living on the surface. The 3-headed dog also guards the gates to the underworld to ensure that no living soul is allowed to enter the underworld, and no dead person can escape from Hades' kingdom. And strangely, Cerberus is very kind and friendly to the dead. Whenever a new soul enters the underworld, the creature seems excited and welcomes the new souls. Persephone, the queen of the underworld, has never been bothered by Cerberus when traveling between the 2 worlds. The truth is, there were times when I saw this creature as cute as some huskies I've seen online. Despite having 3 heads, this monster always craved for a human head. However, this creature could turn ferocious if anyone dared to trespass the boundary of death. It would tear apart the souls of those who intended to come back to life against Hades' will. And any soul that Cerberus gnawed on would vanish forever. If you ask me if Hades' pet did an excellent job at its task, let me tell you some stories about this monster. The most famous tale featuring the 3-headed dog doesn't actually revolve around the 3-headed dog, but rather the hero Hercules. According to the god Apollo at Delphi, Hercules was forced to become a slave to King Eurystheus, and carry out 10 bizarre tasks to redeem himself for killing his wife and children. However, Eurystheus used a loophole to force Hercules to complete 2 more tasks. Hence why they are known as the 12 labors of Hercules today. In the final task, Hercules was ordered to capture Cerberus without any weapons. Nevertheless, Hercules was allowed to bring the lion skin of the Nemean lion, and he also remembered the help of Hermes and Athena. These 2 gods showed Hercules the secret path to enter the underworld to meet Hades without confronting Cerberus. After hearing Hercules' difficult circumstances, Hades allowed him to capture his pet but warned him not to harm it with weapons. Hades was quite generous with his nephew after all. The first obstacle to reaching the underworld was crossing the river Styx, where the souls of the newly deceased gathered, waiting to cross the river on Charon's boat. Charon would not ferry anyone across the river unless they had paid the toll in the form of a coin in the shape of a sheep and they were already dead. Hercules failed to meet either of these conditions. But with his strength, he clapped his hands, and Charon obediently ferried him across the river Styx. However, the real challenge was when Hercules had to face Cerberus on his way out through the main gate, where the beast was still guarding. Here, he met two heroes, Theseus and Pirithous, who were imprisoned while attempting to kidnap Persephone. They promised to help Hercules capture the monster on the condition that he helped them escape from there. When Hercules nodded in agreement, the battle between them and the hellhound began. Cerberus suddenly lunged at Hercules' neck, but fortunately, he was wearing the Nemean lion skin, which nothing could penetrate except for Zeus's lightning bolts. Hercules grabbed one of the heads with his bare hands, while Theseus attacked another, causing Cerberus to become disoriented. After a few minutes, Cerberus was exhausted and surrendered, and Hercules chained it up and brought it to the mortal world. However, in the mortal world, the sunlight made Cerberus sick, and it vomited everywhere, causing all the surrounding grass and trees to wither. Like other captured dogs, it kept barking and growling weakly in protest. Eurystheus couldn't stand the noise and demanded that Hercules release the beast back to the underworld. Actually, Hercules wasn't the first person to face Cerberus, it was Orpheus. Orpheus was a musical genius in Greek mythology who fell in love with the nymph Eurydice, and the two proceeded to marriage. However, tragedy struck on their wedding day when Eurydice was bitten by a venomous snake and died instantly. Overwhelmed with grief, Orpheus traveled everywhere singing mournful songs for his wife, causing anyone who heard them to feel sorrowful and sympathetic for him. Moved by Orpheus' story, some people advised him to descend into the underworld to meet Hades, and persuade him to bring his wife back to life. However, just before he was about to enter, he was stopped by the ferocious Cerberus. Orpheus used his musical talent to tame the beast. Understanding his feelings, the creature obediently lay down so that Orpheus could pass through to meet Hades. After hearing Orpheus' tragic love story, Persephone could not hold back her tears, and even the usually stern Hades was deeply moved. Hades allowed Orpheus' wife to return to the mortal world, but with the condition that Orpheus was not allowed to look back on the way back. However, on the way, Orpheus was filled with anxiety, not knowing if his wife was in pain walking on the rough path of the underworld. Was she cold? And what was destined to happen, happened. Unable to resist his curiosity, the musician turned around, and his wife vanished completely. It was too late for regrets, and Orpheus returned to the underworld to plead with Hades again. But Cerberus blocked him at the gate. Finally, Orpheus was killed by the followers of the god Dionysus and reunited with his beloved of the underworld. Until today, we still come across the image of the three-headed dog through games or movies. In general, these works depict Cerberus as a bloodthirsty monster. But I hope this video will help you have a more objective and complete view of this great mythical creature. Cerberus embodies the good qualities of dogs, and we still consider them our friends. Cerberus can empathize and sometimes act foolishly but is also very cute. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and suggest to us what mythical creature you would like to see next. Goodbye and see you again.